Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell Wednesday, August 24th, 2022. Yes, just 1 week left in this month. September is here. Holy cow. You know, it's been a few weeks, and when I get the opportunity to bring this man on, I clear the desk. I put my phone on silent. I stop the press. I absolutely love this guy. He put the big in Mac. He did. And this guy he's setting fires in California. That's all I'm going to say. This guy is hotter than hot. Peaches for everyone. And if that isn't a clear giveaway, let's bring him on. The one, the only, Mr. Dubs Anderson himself.
JD, my East Coast brother, what is good, son? What is popping? What a season it's been for the PGA Tour Live Golf, coming from nowhere. So much drama every single day. I don't think the off-season is going to stop, JD. And a good thing for us is only a couple of weeks, then we're straight back at it. Another fantastic event this week, the Tour Championship, the best of the best in the world of golf. And that's an absolute fact, taken to Eastlake Golf Club, ATL. And as you touched on, JD, we have been hotter than hot, baby. We are the California wildfires, if you will. 8 from 10 in the outright market. We're absolutely cashing. We're going after these sports books, and that's how exactly it should be. East Coast, West Coast, represent. Always a pleasure, my man. How you doing?
I am doing fabulous. I don't know where to begin. I just been following you for a handful of weeks, the last few weeks, because you've been everywhere. And the only thing that you have, I should say, not been is in the winner's circle. I mean, you just absolutely on fire. I sent you a little note. I felt gifted and grateful. You said, am I following? Am I following? Man, the books are trying to shut me off. Who the hell is, where are you coming up with this shit they're saying?
Get them out of here, son. We're coming after all of them. They're happy that the PGA Tour is trying to go towards a shorter schedule, because it means JD and Dubsy can stop coming after them on the weekly. But hey, there's no let up. There is no let up. Where there's a field, where there's a golf event, we are absolutely going to back winners. And what a tremendous last couple of months we've had here, JD. I was in Memphis a couple of weeks ago there for the FedEx St. Jude to get the playoff party started right in good fashion. It was extremely hot. Your boy was having a heater on the golf course, off the golf course. And here we are. I thought last week was a decent event. Patrick Cantlay in the white suit pants getting it done. He's a boring golfer, but boring's good on the PGA Tour. He is fantastic. And you look at these names who have joined the Live Series. Good for them, right? Go and get the bag, get paid. But look at some of the guys who have found form here on the PGA Tour. Look at the names we have coming into the Tour Championship. Willie Zalatoris, he's not going to be there. Now, he's missing out a great opportunity to make a lot of money. But Scotty Scheffler started in that top spot. Paddy Cantlay, Xander Schauffele, what a season. Sammy Burns, who no one's even talking about, and he's still at 20-1 in the outright market. Cameron Smith, he's pegging it up. Is this going to be the last time we see Cameron Smith on the PGA Tour? I think it's pretty likely, which is unfortunate. But so many young guys on the come up here, and I think we get another fantastic event this week. There's not a lot of value on the board, JD, but Sam Burns is definitely one I've got my eye on, and we got to get, clue onto the fact that some other markets up for the taking this week. Obviously, the golfers are going to be, teeing off with that handicap seating. Scheffler at 10 under par. You can also bet on low 72 holes stroke play. That's where I think the value is going to be for us for some of these lower ranked golfers going into Thursday.
Before we dive into the FedEx, okay, Tiger flies in via jet. They have a sit down, him and Rory, a bunch of the others. And as Rory said, when, there was one alpha in the room and everyone listened, obviously talking to Tiger, the people that weren't privy to or haven't been following, catch us up to speed, what that meeting was all about, and some of the news and rumblings of what we're going to see in the upcoming PGA.
Yeah, well, a couple of big things. So last week when Tiger met Rory, we know they were up to something. I guess that came out today, but the bigger news was from the PGA Tour now announcing that they're pumping more money into some of these elevated events. So we now got 12 events on next season's schedule, $20 million for your average prize purse. That's now right on line with the Live Series. So a lot of golfers who are, umming and ahhing, Do I go to the Live Series or I stay on the PGA Tour? We've now got the same money up for grabs. And of course, there's no incentive. That's the big thing Live have going for it. They're giving golfers 20 million, 30 million just for sign on. The PGA Tour is not going to do that, but I think this is a great step in the right direction. They've announced that they're going to give $500,000 to some of the rookies, the first timers coming up on the PGA Tour. So that gives these guys a chance to get their season off to a strong start. More than likely, they're going to make $500K. And once they surpass that, that's their money. If they don't get past $500K, the PGA Tour is just going to say, we'll cover the rest. Now, that's a great way to lock up this younger talent because that's where we're susceptible. These golfers, they're contractors. We have no way in keeping them on the PGA Tour from going elsewhere. So I think that's another great step in the right direction. But everything the PGA Tour have announced, Jay Monahan, the commissioner, it's starting to sound very similar to what the Live Series are doing. We're now rewarding the higher needle movers, if you will, not essentially the best golfers. The player impact program, that goes from 10 players to 20 players. So a guy like Ricky Fowler is now going to be allowed to come into some of these bigger events with the elevated status when his golf game probably hasn't warranted that. We're going to get away from the clickbait and just reward these guys who are making headlines, who are popping up in internet searches. And how do you do that? You do it from good play. But everything that Jay Monahan came up with this morning, it smells a lot like the Live Series, and it actually starting to sound a lot like Phil Mickelson. He was the bad guy. He's the worst guy in golf, according to a few people. These are all suggestions he's made the last 2, 3, 4 years. Why didn't the PGA Tour act a little sooner? This is the first time in 10, 20 years that they've made any significant changes to the schedule, the formatting of events. So, hey, competition, maybe it's been a good thing for the PGA Tour. And I question, how much more money can the Live Series keep pouring into it, chasing some names? Are they getting close to the end of the road? We're hearing that 7 golfers are going to jump ship after this week, after the Tour Championship. And, of course, to get back to Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy, they've announced their new venture together. It's Stadium Golf, a tech-infused golf league, which will be starting in 2024. 15 events straight out the gates. We're going to do Monday night golf going up against NFL football, NBA basketball. I don't know. I need to find out more about this one, JD. From first glance, even Dubsy, the golf D10, it doesn't excite me. It feels like exhibition golf. The quarterback's playing down there in Las Vegas. It's sort of got that Live vibe to it. And I like Live. The golfers are having a good time. We got music. Everyone's out there, but that's what it is. It's not, high quality golf, the best of the best in the world, especially when there's no incentive to turn up. So Rory McIlroy, Tiger Woods playing teams event, Stadium Golf. I imagine it's going to look very similar to Top Golf meets the CrossFit Games. They're doing short game challenges. They're going to be playing golf in a simulator. I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit, JD, but I think we need to find out more on this one before it really gets me excited. A lot of golf is a good thing, but there can also be too much golf. It's still a niche sport. That's my concern.
It's so funny. We have a regular guest here, B2B from South Florida, Miami, and beating the bookie. And I saw his tweets, and he was talking exactly about Phil Mickelson, the villain. He's the one that no one loves anymore. Yeah. I was a big lefty fan way back in the day. And now he comes across as the villain. But with all these moves that the PGA are making, it's exactly what Phil was spitting.
Yeah. And, you got to question the guys up top. You've now had months to go back to the drawing board. Suddenly they found millions of dollars. Where's that come from? Why could we have not, given that back to the players? Invest in some, sort of other formats, different tournaments. If you want to do the teams event, I'd rather see the LPGA Tour, the ladies join up with the men's and have a bit of a hybrid tournament. Why not get the Champions Tour involved? Those guys can still absolutely play. Let's do a teams event that way, but keep it on the golf course. Let's still play serious golf. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, beating the bookie. I mean, he doesn't miss a beat. Always got the hot takes there on socials. One of the best in the business. Shout out to my man there. But look, Phil Mickelson, everyone wanted to load up and start punching him in the ribs when he was, the bad guy a few months ago. He'd be sitting back there today saying, I told you so. And for Greg Norman and the Live Series, with this announcement, they're looking at saying copycats. Greg Norman's posting memes about Jay Monahan stealing his homework and not changing it up. So I think, not to give the PGA Tour a hard time, but is this really the best we could come up with? All these high execs making millions of dollars, billions coming in from the broadcast, and we're just going to do a similar thing to the Live Series. I'm all about rewarding, the big names in the sport. They're the ones who keep bringing in the fans, keep this thing ticking. But I think maybe we could have done a little better. And who's greedy? Is it the players or is it the tour? You've still got 40 plus events coming at us on the schedule this season. That's a lot of golf. It's fantastic for, we're now guaranteed to see the best of the best in these 12 elevated events. They're going to show up to the majors, the FedEx Cup playoffs, but now they're going to be looking at their schedule saying, okay, where's the highlighter? These are the big events. This is what we're working towards. What happens to these other events? The John Deere Classic, the Waste Management, the Amex out there in Palm Springs. That's not going to be on their radar anymore. So, if I was a sponsor, I'd be saying, hey, unless you're bringing some of these guys to our event, why am I paying top dollar? It's not good enough. So the one thing that Jay Monahan did say, we'll find out more in the next month or so, but I really hope that the 4 events for elevated status, which they didn't announce the course, they bounce it around every season. Let's take it to the desert. Let's take it to the East Coast, the West Coast. Let's try and take a few events international, because I'm looking at that schedule. Yes, we've got a couple of events, over in Scotland, a couple in Asia, but internationally, they're still not making much of an effort. And if they allow Liv to go after the Asian market and everywhere else, that's a huge market. That is a big deal. That could pump millions, billions back into the Liv Series. And it's not even coming from, that Saudi fund. So that could be a dangerous game. I'd love to see an international product. Take a tournament to Australia, New Zealand, grow the game that way.
I'm going to go now to DraftKings. My scoreboard here just dropped, and let me pull it back up. I think you hinted so well. No one's talking about Sam Burns. No one's talking about Sam Burns. Now, Willie Z finally breaks through, and I thought the world was off his back. He was set in perfect position. He will not be there. When this tournament started a few weeks back, I, with Dave Sharapan, said Xander was going to take this. Now, I'm not saying I'm rooting for Xander. That was just my call before this started. Scotty's been leaking oil the whole time, and now he gets to start at -10. Okay, he's plus 225 pre-flop now on DraftKings. Cantlay plus 300. Xander 550. They got Rory at 900. He has come back from this spot before to win the FedEx Cup. Rahm at 1,200. Tony Finau, who's before last week, no one's been hotter, plus 1,800. Your Sam Burns at 2,200. JT at 2,200. Cam Smith at 2,500. Now, I was thinking the pressure started to get to Cam. Everyone knows he's going to Live. He's going to get his $100 million. It would have been a PGA nightmare, if he won the FedEx Cup, dropped the mic and said he's out. That 2-shot penalty going into Sunday a few weeks ago, it was almost like the PGA saying, not so fast. My gut outside here, pre-flop. The first round here has got me. If Scotty drops a 72, 73, 74, allows a couple of these top dogs to post that 65, 66, it's a 3-day shootout. Who knows?
Yeah.
So pre-flop right now, you talk about value. I love the Burns at 2,200. If you had to put a gun to my head, I still got to think Rory's hungry enough to say, I've been talking all the shit about the Live. This is my house. It's my cup. I'm going to come get it.
Yeah, and that's how it feels. If you're looking for the Cinderella story, it's Rory McIlroy. He gets it done. He was so close at every major championship this season. I think he's found that 2014 form. He's had a great run on this golf course before. He's a great driver of the golf ball. The short game has really improved for him. He's playing with house money. It's Scotty Scheffler's to lose, right? Starting in that top spot, it's not an easy tag to take into this one, but I think Scotty Scheffler, he's made of the right stuff. He's not going to go out there and post, I don't think he will post more than a 2-over par. So I think he's definitely going to be there on Sunday. But can these guys go after him? Yes, absolutely. There's not a lot of scoring opportunities. It's only a par 70. So for a guy like Rory, for Sam Burns, they're really going to have to play aggressive out the gates to get themselves back into the event. I look at Patrick Cantlay. He scares me. I don't have a ticket on him, but, he showed us this time last year. Fantastic. Again, there last Sunday, he's found his game. Xander Schauffele, who I give a hard time to, I think he has found that killer instinct. On a big ballpark, I think maybe the distance holds, Xander Schauffele out of this one. And for Cameron Smith, I mean, out of all this field, if there's a guy who you want to put up against adversity, who's okay in being in this field with everyone talking about him, he knows that they know that he's going to live. I think he could show up and show to everyone, hey, you want to fire me up? I'm going to take this check and I'm bouncing on Monday. See yous later. I am that good. If Scotty Scheffler's number one in the world, Cam Smith has got to be so close behind him with the season he's had. And he lets his golf do the talking. He's the money's going to be nice for Cameron Smith if he does eventually go to the Live Series. But I think it's more about the schedule, the lifestyle. And I think he'll let that putter do the talking. So Cameron Smith, what's he teeing off at 4 under par, 6 shots back? He's not out of it. And I think he's got that maturity. These bigger names like Cam and Rory, they'll say, hey, we don't have to win the tournament on Thursday. Who cares what Scotty Scheffler's doing? I'm going to set the winning mark at 20 under par. If I can get there by Sunday afternoon, I should win this golf event. And I mean, what a field it is. But I certainly think 4 under par is probably as low as I'd go. 3 under par, that's pushing it. John Rahm, he's sort of been slept on. I feel like, until last weekend, Cantlay reminded us all how good he is. But John Rahm and Morikawa, they've been sneaking under the radar there the last couple of months, and we know what Rambo's capable of.
You said something, being aggressive. Now going back to the Tiger days where Tiger would just go out, shoot a, even par 1 or 2 under on Thursday, and he'd get into the cut on Friday and a moving day make his day, and then he'd coast on Sunday. But when you talk about aggressiveness, knowing I'm 4, 5, 6 shots back before we even tee off, can you play yourself out on Thursday, Dubs?
Yeah, you certainly can. And that's the risk with being aggressive, going for some of these pins, right? Maybe you're trying to set yourself up for a 10-footer for birdie. I played at this golf course the week of the Tour Championship there last week. And the one thing that stands out to me, around these greens, they're raised greens. So if you're slightly off, you go down the runoff and it leads you back into this real thick, grainy kind of rough where you can't spin the ball. You can't really get the club onto the back of the ball. And you'll see that this week where the guys are knuckling shots where maybe they'll come up 30 feet short. Maybe they go 30 feet long and you can make a bogey, a double from, being side by side with the flag stick. So it's a tough golf course. I think it presents that risk reward. But again, usually the par 5s are the good scoring opportunities to charge up a leaderboard. We don't have all of them out there this week. So you've really got to be good with your iron play. And it's a long course, but you have to be coming from the fairway. The rough here is going to kill the guys this week. So good drive of the golf ball. And I think sneaky good short game is what's going to be the difference, especially when you're trying to keep, a double, a bogey off the scorecard. But absolutely, if you start slow on Thursday, that's you out of the event. If Scotty Scheffler posts a 3 or 4 under par and you're 10 shots back, going into Friday, Saturday, forget about it. And I mean, for some of these other guys, JD, they're going to be looking at the prize purse breakdown. Maybe they're not playing for the win, The top 5 spots here are making a lot of money. Last place, Willie Z, he's still getting $500K for not even showing up. So maybe some of these guys who aren't, the usual pedigree that we see contending at the majors, the big events, maybe they're just eyeing a top 10 finish. Maybe it's not for the win. So it'll be interesting what we see on Thursday. It is all in Scotty Scheffler's hands, and that's how it should be. The top dog off the pack, how's he going to handle that pressure?
Before we wrap up here, you talked about other than pre-flop value and, day-to-day checking the leaderboards, the live odds, any head-to-heads, anything you see of value that you can share to people watching and listening?
Yeah, I think one that stands out to me, we've got to look at course history here. Justin Thomas, minus 115 for a top 10 finish. He's played here 6 times, never finished outside the top 10. Again, he's going to be playing with house money. I think for JT, it's been a decent year. Obviously had, the major win, but other than that, he really hasn't done much. So I think he's going to have the motivation. He's not the biggest guy, but the driver is unbelievable when he's on. We know he's a shot maker. We know the putting is starting to look a little better for JT. He's starting at 3 under par. He's only really going to make up 1 shot. He's inside that top 10. And this is a guy who he's going after the win or he's happy with 30th place. He doesn't care about a top 5, a top 6. He's going after these guys up top. And I think his game can certainly back it up. If you're looking for a couple of Imano heads-up matchups, let me take a look here. What have I got? I've got JT for the top 10. Cameron Young for a top 10 as well. I'll throw that in there at plus 170. A couple of heads-up matchups I'm not big on Joaquin Neiman. He's great with the driver, but he is all over the ballpark. Cameron Young, Rookie of the Year on the PGA Tour this season. Get a slice of him at -130. He's been the biggest revelation for me the last 12 months. Cameron Young, very impressive. Can't wait for the breakthrough win. It's only a matter of time.
And you talked about Joaquin. He got me my paycheck in the Pat Mayo Cup. I finished.
There you go.
400. He was my last play yesterday. Last week finished, I think, 8th or 7th. So he got us to the pay window. Last question, because I know you're a busy man. Sunday night, who's holding up the FedEx Cup?
I think it's Scotty Scheffler. I think he caps off an amazing year. I think he's built to be the front runner. He's unflappable. I look at certain guys for certain situations, situational awareness. You want it from a golfer. And I think he's excited by having that challenge of being number one in the world, of being the guy to beat this week over there at Eastlake, starting at 10 under par. But I think we're going to have some heavyweights coming down the stretch here Saturday, Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised if he surrenders that lead on Saturday, and that's not the worst thing in the world. It is exhausting trying to go wire to wire. Patrick Cantlay, who I'm not on, he does scare me. Paddy Ice, Paddy Terminator, he's got that steely glare in his eyes, and we know how good he did at this one last season, but I think Scotty Scheffler lifts the trophy. You can get him at, 2-1, plus 250. It's not exciting, but sometimes boring golf, boring paydays, that's what gets us in the pay zone for Sunday afternoon. So I'm going to say Scotty Scheffler gets it done. If not him, Sammy Burns for the value of play. Yeehaw.
The scroller's been going the whole time. We are blessed and honored, obviously, to have you. If you guys are not following this guy, shame on you. Follow him. Dubs Anderson, Mr. Dubsy, Sports Grid TV, Sports Grid, Boston versus the Book, Props US, of course, talking golf to me. Dubsy, we are honored and blessed. Now that golf season's over, we're going to give you a couple of weeks off, but once it kicks back up, we're going to be, the East Coast is going to be knocking on your door.
East Coast, West Coast, brother. It is always a pleasure. And that's the thing with the golf off season. What kind of sickos have a 2-week off season? We'll be doing it again for the President's Cup. So Dubsy's going to be rehydrating, if you know what I'm saying, JD. Always a blast, mate. Let's back a couple of winners this week for the Tour Championship, and we'll do it again very shortly.
Thank you again. The one and only Mr. Dubsy Anderson. Thanks to everyone that watch and listen. Don't be afraid to retweet. That's like tipping the dealer at the Bellagio. See you soon.